I'm gonna make a quick video of my pickups. I believe this is January 2018 or 2017. No, 2018. Yeah, so I've already did like a year's worth of pickups, so I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna try to make these quick. This is gonna be all the heavy metal, basically metal or thrash metal, kind of like the heavier stuff that I picked up. And first album was Metallica, Master of Puppets. Got this on the Blackened label, so this is a reissue. Classic album, obviously I had to have it. I have, you know, the 4 Metallica albums that I like, the first 4. I think this is one of the first ones I picked up though. It's a classic album, great. I mean, this is, I first heard this album on my way to Motley Crue Girls, Girls, Girls concert. Somebody brought a mixtape of Metallica, Megadeth, and all these other really heavy bands, and it was the first time that I ever heard thrash metal, you know, or music, you know, like this at all. Fantastic album. As soon as I heard this, I started selling off my baseball cards and started buying into metal cassettes and stuff like that. So I bought like Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Metallica. You know, that's basically where I started my metal journey. Besides Metallica, or besides Motley Crue, but the heavier side of metal. Then I picked up Scanner. This Hypertrace is a thrash metal album. These guys are from Germany, I believe. This is a really good speed thrash metal album. If you like, you know, German fast thrash metal, Scanner's for you. Also picked up an original press of Testament. This is was an eBay buy, I believe. Mine was kind of a little bit cheaper. It has a little bit of water damage here at the, so I got this for a pretty good price at the time, probably like 35 bucks or something like that. For an original press, that's pretty good, and it's in great condition. Otherwise, you know, the vinyl's in great condition. This is a great album. This was one of the first thrash metal bands that I saw a video for on Headbangers Ball. I saw Trial by Fire, and it just blew me away. I was like, there's more bands like Metallica, you know. So it's like freaking awesome. So I had this on cassette when I was a kid. Death Angel, Frolic Through the Park. This is the red vinyl. The only thing I hate about this is the 3 songs per side. I just, you know, this album is not long enough for that type of treatment. Yeah, it just makes no sense. Anyway, besides that, it's a good pressing. I believe this is I think this is a Metal Blade. Yeah, this is a Metal Blade pressing in red. Really good classic thrash. A lot of people prefer the first album. I think maybe I do too, but I still like this album. It definitely shows that they're getting more diverse, you know, in their thrash metal style. You know, it's not just straight up pure thrash metal anymore. You know, there's a little bit more influences on this, and some of the songs are mid-paced, you know, and have just different elements. Actually, this album is even worse. I think it has only 2 songs per side. Yeah, this album is some sides have 2 songs, some sides have 3. I just hate this. I mean, I get, you know, having an audiophile press. I almost want a different pressing of this. I really would like an original press. You know, I get audiophile, but 2 songs, I mean, come on. Anyway, good album. This was one of the first concerts I went to with my friends that I met in high school, who were all into heavy metal. This is Annihilator, Alice in Hell. This is a great album. I bought this album from Harmony House from Macomb Mall just based on the cover. I didn't hear anything from it. It was on Roadrunner Records, so I was already familiar with that label, and yeah, I just picked it up not knowing what the hell it was. And then they ended up showing up in Detroit opening for Wrathchild America and Testament on Practice What You Preach tour. Great thrash metal album here. In my opinion, I mean, Jeff Waters and the Annihilator, it's kind of, for me, it's downhill from here. But I know a lot of people still like those post Alice in Hell albums, but I mean, he hit a home run out of the gate, and he has been hitting singles, doubles, and triples ever since, unfortunately. He had a really great rookie year. Jeff Waters did. This is a fantastic album, but the newer stuff, I don't know, I just can't get into myself. I would need a lot more time with that new stuff to like it. This I got this for, I think I got this incredibly cheap on Amazon. You know, I was looking for records on Amazon, and I found Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. Got this for, you know, probably like 20 bucks on sale or on like a clearance or something. This is a good album. I'll tell you the story about Pantera. If you're watching this video, cool, you're gonna get to hear a really cool story, or at least a cool story that I think. It's a funny story that me and my friends talk about. So Pantera opened for Exodus and Suicidal Tendencies on a tour that they did back when this album came out, when this album was hitting. And they played at a place in Roseville, Michigan called the Ritz. It was like, it's basically half bar, half club, half dance floor. Well, I guess third bar, third club, or third, you know, stage with show, and third dance floor. And the stage was like, I don't know, the way it was all set up kind of doesn't matter. But anyway, the place could get, this place was packed when Suicidal came. It was Lights, Camera, Revolution tour. And Exodus was touring on, I think it's the one with the pinball on it. I forget the name of that album for some reason. Anyway, I'll put it up on the screen if I remember. Anyway, it was that tour. And soon as Pantera went on, like, we had been to a few concerts up to that point. You know, we had done, you know, the mosh pit and stuff like that. When we were teenagers. We were like, oh, this mosh pit's fun, you know. But none of us had really been picked up on the crowd and crowd surfed yet. So I get picked up. I'm like the lightest kid at the time. You know, I'm a real skinny kid when I'm in high school. And I get picked up, thrown up, go up towards the front of the stage, get grabbed by a bouncer. I'm like, oh, that was fun. Yay. And then I immediately get escorted out and thrown into the alley of the Ritz outside. So I'm standing outside, and there's, I think, one other kid out there. And we're just like, what the fuck just happened? Did we just get kicked out of this concert for, you know, crowd surfing? What the fuck just happened? So, and as we're standing there, more kids start getting kicked out and coming out this side door. And there's probably ends up about 20 or 30 kids outside the Ritz while Pantera is playing. And we're just like, what the fuck happened? This was literally during the first song of the Pantera show. Fucking crazy. And so we're all out there, and all of a sudden, you know, maybe after an hour, you know, so this is after Pantera had finished, we could hear Exodus had gone on, you know, we could hear from the alley, and we're walking around the building trying to find somebody, like, dude, we need to get let back in. You know, we just got kicked out for no reason, just for crowd surfing. Like, what the fuck? Finally, I think a promoter or somebody came out, and he's like, what the hell happened? You guys are getting kicked out for this? He ended up getting us back in. So I ended up only seeing one song of Pantera, missed their whole set. And I only got to see maybe the last two songs of Exodus. And even after that, then you know, we're in there hanging out, and I'm like, I meet my friends together, like, what happened to you? Where'd you go? And I'm like, dude, I got kicked out. I've been outside for the past, you know, hour and a half. It's like, what the fuck? And as soon as Suicidal went on, like, they must have oversold the place because the fire marshal came and everything. It was the whole deal. You know, everything you hear about shows like this, you know, oh, it was crazy. Everybody was getting kicked out. Fire marshal had to show up. All that shit happened at this show. Fucking crazy. It's a good story to have, but it really sucked at the time. I was really pissed that I missed Pantera and Exodus especially. But I did see the whole set of Suicidal, which was cool. And anyway, I got this album. All right, the next album I picked up, this is Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss. This is also a great album. This was, I think, the first Slayer album that I picked up for my collection. This is a reissue. I believe, again, I got this on Amazon. Amazon was selling a lot of records, and they were selling them for cheap. Like, I never picked anything up for more than like 20, 25 bucks off of Amazon, you know, up to this point. I wasn't to the point where I am now, where I'm willing to spend 30, 40, sometimes even $50 on a record. I was really trying to buy as many records as I could at as low a price as I could. And they were not necessarily giving them away, but I don't think I paid more than like 20, 22 bucks for this off Amazon when I got it. Great album, by the way. This is one of the new albums that I bought at the time. This is Power Trip, Nightmare Logic. This was kind of a new release at the time. Power Trip, it's good crossover thrash. You know, kind of has, it's really simple riffing, shouty vocals. A lot of people love this album. I've listened to it a few times. I like it. I just don't love it. I probably would have to spend a lot of time with this album to really appreciate it, but it's just not the type of thrash that I love or that I really, really like. Not a bad album, but it's just not one of my favorites, or as high as, I wouldn't rate this as high as a lot of other people would, at least for myself. And Destruction, Thrash Anthems 2, got this for like 10 or 15 bucks off eBay. People were just giving this away. You know, I was always, like I said, I was looking for deals on eBay, you know, buy it now deals. And friend of mine actually, I think, said, hey, this album's really cheap on eBay right now. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I just grabbed it. Pretty good. You know, it's re-recordings of some of their old stuff. Pretty good stuff here. You know, you can look at the track list or whatever if you want, but this is a good thrash metal album. It's pretty good for Destruction. I don't mind when they do these re-records sometimes. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It really just depends. Like when Flotsam and Jetsam re-recorded No Place for Disgrace, that was completely unnecessary and it sounded shitty, I think. For some reason though, like it's hit or miss with me. This Destruction, I don't mind hearing these songs redone for some reason. I mean, maybe it's because I didn't, you know, I don't have Destruction, you know, memorized as well, you know, and like, you know, I had some of the albums when I was younger, but you know, that Flats album, I mean, I memorized that album, like every riff, every guitar note, you know, solos, everything. I love that album. Destruction, I didn't do as much of that, you know, so it didn't bother me that much. They were re-recording these. All right, so that's all my pickups for I think it's January of 2017. All right, cool. That's for metal. Thanks.